all the buildings are heavily industrial, and they look really like their facades are really ugly. But here they have so many old buildings that just make it so.
Bro, even just that little island that we went on that had those square buildings. That was so sick.
Yeah, those are so dope.
Bro, when cities just have like little things.
Yeah, they just put a little bit more effort, man.
Because to me, that's like cities actually caring about like themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why New York's so good. Partially because they're like, oh, New York. New York's the best. I love New York.
Yeah.
Bro, because here, like people in Montreal, like when they grow up here and they're rich here, they want to live here in the future. So they put all their nice stuff here.
Yeah, bro. But Ottawa, like I can feel the grayness in Ottawa, man.
Ottawa is just a place to move out.
Yeah.
Ottawa really just stopped upgrading itself after it built all those government buildings like 30 years ago.
Yeah, bro.
To me, that's all Ottawa is. It's just to facilitate the government.
I mean, that's completely
And that's
true.
why it's shit. But probably most people don't even want to be there in the first place.
Most kids, bro, every kid that I talk to has been like, yeah, I'm moving on.
Yo, yeah, literally, I've never heard anyone say like.
Most of them won't, though.
Most of them won't go because they're just like, they choose the boring ass lives. But people like, real people are the people who end up being rich. If that, like.
No, I agree with you. I agree
now
with
they're
you.
just like, oh, like
people who have like a lot of substance will tend to do things that are like more ambitious because they just feel the experience in a lot more richer way. Especially those who are like looking for a lot of experiences.
I mean, people are like what, spontaneous?
Not necessarily, but just that they like. Well, I guess so, but they have like curiosity, man. Like they just want to do things.
Is it about characteristics of a person or about opportunities they have in front of them?
Well, opportunities.
I think
can come
no, I
anyway.
think it is characteristics of a person because you can tell when a person is like, I have no better way to put it in my mind than quote unquote like real, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many people who are like, oh, they're like, if they don't like want to do anything, then they'll just live these like average lives. Like, I hate to say, but like my parents' life. Like, I don't want my parents' life. I would hate to have my parents' life.
Why do you think your parents have the life they do? Are you using this charger, by the way?
Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry.
That's okay.
But so many people are like, oh, I'll just like
In 5 years.
the parenthood is really strange to me.
It's not the parenthood that's strange to me. It's having your children be the sort, like, the identity of your life.
I always had that thing when I was like, that was my biggest thing growing up, was always the hate for the idea that your kids are your source of happiness. But then having like quote unquote grown up in some sense, I can see exactly why that is.
Yeah.
Like it truly is the.
Well, why? Because of Corona.
What's that?
Why? Because of Corona.
What do you mean?
What?
You said because of Corona.
No, because of like having graduated high school, having gone to university, having like lived under like very tight financial constraints, having seen like pressures of getting a good career, of understanding, of making like decisions that cut off other opportunities, of like taking on responsibilities. I can see. I think there's a pretty typical pathway of experiences that one goes through, and then once they go through those experiences, they kind of become mundane, and then the last and most fulfilling thing, including biologically, is to raise kids.
Yeah.
So despite as sad as it feels in principle, like I've been finding a lot of things that are sad in principle, but true in practice, and I think that.
I think it's just that our people don't get it yet. Like people our age or like, I would say like stage of growing up. That's what I believe in, a lot of stages of growing up.
We can go straight to the highway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? How you know?
It's faster.
He's on Google Maps.
Also, are we going to Angeles or not?
Yo, no, Heidi. But if we go this way, then we can actually drive maybe a bit closer to port. I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, let's drive close.
We can, because I don't know if we'll actually get to the port. In fact, I'm pretty sure we won't, because
No,
there's
we won't.
Yeah, you're right that we won't. But we will nonetheless. Thank you. Is this a one-way?
No, you can turn.
Yeah. Excuse me, Chadsey. You were talking about how people our age don't really get it all the time.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I'm saying specifically the being a parent, that they wouldn't understand the being a parent part, and I really do believe that. But I'm saying a big like my theory is that there's like stages to growing up, and some people just decide to like stay at some stages. But I think there's stages to growing up, and I think the like one of the later ones or the final one is like the stage to like be a parent and where it is the most fulfilling thing. Like I was like off of your idea where it's like that's like truly what you like, what your purpose is and what you want to do.
What I think makes it so much more fulfilling though is that you have a lot of things to share and teach your child, and that's why it's kind of like unfortunate when they have kids immediately. I mean, maybe not, like you can also have this experience with them, but like for me, I respect so much more adults who have lived a very rich life, a lot of rich experiences. And it's kind of weird when like you're surrounded by a lot of adults who don't really have any of that, where all they talk about is like the stuff they've done with their kids. And honestly, I would probably respect it. Like, I probably respect some adults, some parents a lot more if they had done more things on their own. I probably would respect my parents a lot more if they weren't like. It's because for the shit that they put me through, for the shit that they say to me, it's like, bro, like, come on, shut the fuck up. You don't even understand what you're talking about. As in, having so much pressure put to also make them happy because they don't have their own experiences is an incredibly frustrating responsibility to have, and more so that they don't have their own lives, so I have to essentially account for that and give it to them.
I guess that's the thing about having a life. I guess if it gets to an extreme, which is what you're talking about, then it's also a matter of acknowledging responsibility, which I think probably comes a lot of times with having kids young, is that you don't gain the acknowledgement of the responsibility, as in like, it's okay, it's better to have your life be your kids, which actually is probably generally a pretty good thing for your kids, and maybe even for yourself. But if you acknowledge that and don't try to seek what it can't give you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
As in if you search,
absolutely.
If you search, because you have the responsibility where it's kind of a given that your kids become your life. If you then search for things in your life that innately come from an independent life, from a child-free life, then you're running into a problem, because now you're expecting things of your kids which don't really facilitate their growth in any way. Yeah,
it's super misaligned. You just like,
I was talking to Michelle about this yesterday actually, and I said it's better to be like, as a dad, I would want to become a dad later because I think I'd have a lot more experience.
Yeah.
Because I think being like a cooler dad or like a cooler person, so to say, so I have like experiences and whatever. Like obviously for one, you'd know a lot more for your kid, which is really like the main thing. But like,
I agree.
You'd also like, you'd be like in a better off place in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.
There's also a time period, because I reference this all the time, although I've never referenced it on camera, which is that probably one of the quote that I read in a book that affected me the most, and I mean the most around my life, like truly like such a wow quote. The most wow quote I've ever read was in this book written by a psychologist who worked with troubled teenagers, and the line was that a lot of times older kids run into struggles with their parents because when you're a child, you naturally assume that your parent is perfect, and when you grow older and you become more aware, you start to see the ways in which your parents are not perfect. However, in your head, you still expect them to be perfect as you previously perceived them to be, which creates a existential like crisis. And so I see that gap as widening as you have kids older, provided that you're actually becoming wiser. Because, like, you know, if you have kids at 19 and you're just a typical 19-year-old, and your kid is like now, let's say 5, and you're 24, then that's actually fine. You'll still be you know, a god to your child, but your time is running up because soon enough you won't be able to provide as much wisdom to your child, and if you don't have the connections, which nobody really does, to kind of outsource that, then you can't even provide them with any way to get it without them having to go to the library themselves or whatever.
Yeah, another big thing actually is the
Oh, just
timing.
sync up here.
Because I've also noticed people who have their kids sooner, like people who are like teen parents and stuff, they're very well connected with their kids, but like it's less of that like, oh, my parent is like perfect.
Right.
Like that's one thing I've noticed.
But that's because they essentially grew up together.
But they know more about the time that
And that's, I don't think that that's necessarily a healthy way.
I agree.
I'm always cautious with the quote unquote healthy word because I kind of hate that approach to word. But if you know what I mean in terms of like just, I think there's a better way to do it, which is to just be able to, like, I think about like Jean, who I don't think had kids very young, or even if she did have kids young, she also had kids much older. And she has a stellar connection with her kids, and it's not because they both literally grew up together. It's because because despite her age, she can still shift her perspective to that of a child.
Yes,
her perspective is timeless. And like I know this, for example, myself, where I'm in conversations with my mom a lot, where like lately over the past year or more, where it's like literally like we're talking, but at the end of the day she admits, she's like, look, like at the end of the day you're gonna make a decision here for yourself, because I do not know I don't know, like I can say things that might sound helpful and kind of calming to you and certain to you because I'm your mom, so you have that perception of me, but like realistically I do not have more subject particular experience in this than you in order to help you make the right decision. Like it would be nice for you to have some outside like influences here to help you make the decision, because like I can't help you with that. And so that's why I guess being super capable and then connected so you can outsource when your kids get older it really helps them.
Yeah, I think you can actually take a good pieces of these stages, and when people have kids, like if they have it very early, they're able to have a lot more experiences with them, because, well, for one, they also want to see these experiences, and as you said, their perspective is way more aligned than it would be if there were like a 40-year difference between them, and so they'd probably have like, you know, a lot easier way to connect with themselves. But on the other hand, especially what I noticed like empirically through like younger parents, is that they also like have very poor emotional, I guess, maturity or management.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As in like they get a lot more emotional. Like even though like you know, they maybe like have a lot of good times with their kids, they could be also a lot more like hard on their kids because for the fact that they haven't like really took time to take that patience, and they also have to manage a lot of stress because they are lacking often a lot of stability, and so that's where it could go wrong. But on the contrary, you know, you have someone with a lot more maturity, they'll have a lot more experiences to share from their own lives, but they may not be able to share actual experiences, you know, obviously depending on the person.
Kind of the old port.
It's on the other side of the old port, actually.
We're about to get on the highway, but
Yeah, but like what you said about having a timeless perspective is really interesting, and I think that just transcends parenting as well. It just has to do with people in general having timeless characters that are privy to the effects of, like, you know, change of energy, change of drive. Because, you know, I could definitely imagine Jean from the beginning was very, very driven, very connected, despite not having kids. Like and you know, it would be great to actually interview her about that, to see how she actually feels about it. I think you have to get on that.
Yeah, you gotta go to that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't.
No, one thing again about the timeless personality is I know I talk about it a lot, but real people. Like I believe that people can be a real person.
What do you define a real person as?
Like doing their own thing and able to do their own thing a lot of times. A lot of people actually
has a unique life, has a unique...
You've been talking a lot about followers and leaders lately. Chadsey?
Well,
Hattie, do I go
that's
5
just,
or
like,
4?
To be honest, the following leader
Hattie,
stuff
5 or 4?
was really
I'm going
just
5.
like the leader's the real person. Like the followers, like I do not understand followers, and like I don't understand how they exist. Like I don't understand how people could just not want to do their own thing.
I agree, bro. I actually agree. I actually don't know what it is because I've never really been that way. Like I've always been pretty stubborn in that. But yeah, like it's when people don't really question decisions and they just assume the decision to be all right. Where like that's where like they become a follower. It's like
I've seen this a lot more in young adults than I actually expected.
No, I fully mean the followers they rely on people. Like realistically, people don't understand that like a group of leaders and a group of people who care will beat like any other group any day. Because the resemblance to actually caring about something is so much.
Yeah.
Like say I'm doing something, say I'm making a little wooden boat. Say I just like I want to like my friends that are making little wooden boats, I want to make a little wooden boat. Versus the person who's like, this is so cool, I love making wooden boats. I take time, like this is how I like to spend my time.
Yeah.
And do it this way.
It's funny, right as
They actually
you...
care to make it like worthwhile.
You know what though, like
Right as you
just having
expanded the word
experience
care.
is not necessarily indicative of being incredibly I guess
Talented.
or rather like capable of doing something like that, because like as we were talking about with the leaders and the followers, you can still have followers who are incredibly technical and wary of a lot of or just have a lot of mastery in that. But like someone who's a master and a leader, or not even a master and a leader, just as plain out leader, will still probably be able to challenge a lot of these masters who are also followers at whatever they're doing, because like even though that's their domain, having the ambition to try to at least challenge whatever they're trying to build is indicative of being a leader. And also like for the most part, I feel that leaders like challenges anyway.
Yeah.
And so they just make something happen. And I love that when people are like so down to make something happen, regardless of how much or how little they know. And most people like shy away from that uncomfortableness of the uncertainty of not knowing something fully. And that's also like I get so confused about. Like I don't understand how like when you don't know something and you have like no other reason why you wouldn't want to actually like accept the challenge or do something that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like going on a roller coaster ride today.
Yeah. Another thing is you talked about like talent and capability. I think like one thing I think about a lot, but this is fully like what I believe now, is that talent is a mindset. It depends what mindset. I think like ADHD and OCD and all that, like I know this sounds really stupid, but I think they're all like different, like just for example like mindsets. But I think there's still like different like types of mindsets. Like there's a bunch. And I think just ADHD is a kind. But I think like that's where your mindset gives talent, that you think about things a certain way.
Yo, I've been thinking about that so much. It's crazy that you mentioned that. Like I've actually been thinking about that so much. And I've talked about this with Andrew so many times about how like building intelligent systems, or rather just having this perspective of change, like becoming like a master or really good at something. And I was wondering, like I imagine like the progression of like where people are at as a sigmoid curve in terms of like I guess success or like ability, like raw talent.
What?
Like I imagine like a curve, a function of like people along that curve who are successful / have a lot of a talent / ability. And
What were you saying?
I just imagine like a sigmoid curve where like it's like a plateau here, and then it's like a short curve, and then a steep turn, and then a plateau at the top. Like it's like that. And I imagine like the distribution.
Doing it the wrong way.
That's for the camera. I know, I'm doing it for the camera.
Oh.
Yeah. But like, yeah, like once you go up for like across that sigma curve, like very initially, the reason why those people are at the bottom is because either they have like no hard work or no talent or both. And then like I imagine that like hard work will put you up that little that midsection, and hard work is the difference between success of people in that range. So the harder you work, the faster you'll get up there. But like, imagine you get to the highest level of everyone's status, then everybody's working super hard. So at this point, now everybody's working pretty much the same amount of hours as you, and you've hit the limit on how much humans could possibly work. So now literally the difference is actually just pure talent. And I've been trying to focus exactly like what it is that pushes people higher along that curve. And
I think it is caring about something, but I think it's also caring to learn more about something.
yes,
Because
exactly.
I'm gonna use this as an example. Imagine being like a woodworker. Okay, you're like a regular woodworker. You work super hard. You get like, I'm gonna say working super hard is just like keep doing it and getting better. For this example, because you can't really like work hard at woodworking. You could work hard and like work accurately and whatever. But then again, at the end of the day, as long as you want to learn more and like improve on yourself and get better, like say getting like, for example, more machines and like more new techniques. And I think really coming up with your own techniques is a really interesting thing. Like being good enough to the level where you're like, oh, now you're making your own stuff. That's one thing that I like is a big idea for like my quote unquote real people.
The thing is, like with that, what I'm super curious about that is that, like, how much does understanding a subject affect your ability to make a creative or / innovative, I guess, iteration of whatever you're doing?
It would fully broaden it, but I'm not saying just like knowing like how to do it, but knowing about it. Like knowing like I'm saying like a natural like interested, like, oh, you're interested in, you have that little peak point and now you're off your like main interest and now you just have it in your back pocket as something like you know about, like you're fluid in knowledge about it. Then I feel like it's fully would expand. I think it would multiply everything else you know.
Yo, yes, man.
Because then you combine everything else you know to like with it, and it gets even better.
Yo, that's
And
why I love
taking each
science.
thing has its own like field, because that's why I think really diversity of like knowledge is good. Because if you take stuff from Asia, you take stuff from wherever, they'll have different methods of doing stuff. And even if you just look at the tool structures of them, Western stuff versus Eastern stuff, they're like even their tools are different. Like Asian tools are much more like calm and accurate, where even Western tools are just like more like powerful focused, like big hammers and stuff. For example,
Yeah. No, it's an interesting example that you're using.
Try to get food or no?
Yeah, we can. Would you like to?
We can eventually.
Yeah.
Let's just get out of Montreal and then.
You want to go?
Let's go to Tim Hortons.
I'm looking to get something quick though. But yeah,
Eddie, where would you like us to stop?
Angelos. I can just grab meat pie or something.
Where is it?
And where?
Yeah.
Where should I go, bro?
Take the right ramp. Right.
The right one.
That's right.
Laval, XQC's hometown, baby. Is he in Laval? Is he still living there?
No.
He lives in LA.
I actually hate that.
I don't know where he goes anymore.
Does
It's so weird he's like the only like.
the Canadian streamer? Yeah, I love seeing Canada representation because, like, bro, Canadians are actually so capable. I don't know why it takes a while for us to get like top G. Actually, that's not true.
I think
Brain
it
drain.
actually does
Drake,
do that our
Weeknd,
wares-
Justin
our wares
Bieber.
cities are kind of set up. Not really focused.
Where to next?
We're kind of focused on different stuff.
Exit 68.
I feel like,
See on the hood.
honestly, I feel the vibe of Canadians, like, we're honestly all focused on ourselves, trying to just live a peaceful life.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine, man. Because when we were walking down the docks and seeing those incredible condos, bro, man, I just realized, like, holy fuck. There are so many rich people who are living very peaceful lives and they have no care for all the shit that's going on in the world, and they're truly free. Wow. Maybe
Nobody's truly free. Rich people are less free.
Do you like background music?
I would say you're less free.
from what?
Free to do whatever they want. I'd say you're only not free if the responsibilities
This van.
you
It's a dream van.
the responsibilities you take enable you to waste all your time.
Yeah, that's
How do you? Where do I go now?
To take the exit.
Okay.
If I ever get
Oh,
a super
beauty
fan,
car
I'll
in
take
front
you
of
guys
us.
all over the place.
A super fan?
Yeah.
Yo, that van is really cool.
Oh, a super fan.
But what's even more cool is this car in front of us. It's not hard, right?
Yep, that's Quebec Walmart.
No, there's a lot of like.
And then
I do think there's stages to life though.
What's that, Hattie?
We were talking about this in a different way. We were talking about progressions.
Right lane, left lane?
go on the right.
How far is it?
Turn?
Actually, no. Left lane.
How far is it? How far is it?
Heidi, we're trying to get back on the highway. Heidi, we're trying to get back on the
Go
highway.
back to the highway. Is it?
This goes back to the highway.
Yeah, it is. You take this. No.
What?
It's the map says to take this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
No, the Mazda's saying to get.
guys.
You
The
just-
This is the
Mazda,
road next to the highway.
guys. The Mazda's taking us to Ottawa, not to fucking Andalusia.
Yeah, that's why I'm on Google Maps.
So which?
Heidi,
It's
Yes,
telling you
this
to go
is-
up and turn around like.
No,
no,
but
Chadsey.
It's trying to tell us to go to Ottawa, bro. It's trying to tell us.
Heidi, what do I do, bro?
Okay, yeah. Keep going on this. On this road. See, I told you.
apologize.
These are the type of roads that you experience in Montreal.
That is so weird.
That's what I said.
That is so weird. Okay. Well, clickbait. Actually, debated.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's weird at first.
yo, we're talking about Andrew and I. Have been talking about progression, and the way I see it sometimes is in a way is that a lot of people are on a quote unquote progression with their lives, and a lot of people tend to experience the same things.
Stay in your lane.
For example, like a lot of people tend to get
Take the.
a lot of people tend to upgrade their lives in a very similar way. You know, they get a car, they go to college, they get a house, a mortgage, they get a wife, they get children, etc. But I also phrased it more like as in they progress on a sort of mentality
Up
frame
ahead, there's a round.
because we have
You gotta make the right turn.
because we have very similar experiences.
Right exit.
Pull the Lacadie Sud.
Okay.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
what is this?
I'm telling you, these are so weird.
There's a lot going on. That's why I really love the Quebec roads.
Go.
You love it?
Yeah, they're so beautiful. Like it's like a jungle. Because I remember I talk about this all the time. Like I remember driving from prom.
Is it here? Are you sure it's open?
This is the lane. Yeah.
Are you sure it's gonna be open?
Yeah, it's open.
Till when?
Arabic places are always open.
We're going to an Arabic food place.
Well, it's kind of.
We're going to a fire spot.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't follow the Sunday stuff.
Yeah, stay in that.
I fuck with that so
And
heavy.
then. Yep.
Taken probably no place will do that later.
That's
Nobody will do any of that like Sunday Christian shit.
I hope so.
I
Not
disagree.
shit disrespect, but like.
I think that'll continue.
really. I think it's gonna slow down.
Religion is not going to get phased out.
It is already getting phased out.
No,
It's not going to get
so many
phased
people
out.
are very religious.
It's not going to get phased out just because something is phasing out. Like if it's moving at like, it's phasing out at a decreasing rate, and the rate at which it's phasing out is already extremely low.
I wonder if that's true.
I feel like that's one stage that a lot of people do too. That's really that I don't understand right now. The same as the parent stage is the religious stage.
I mean,
You think religion is
right here?
I don't think religion is a stage. I think you see a lot in youth because people go through quote unquote phases. Turn right,
Yeah.
but religion is extremely prominent in North America and throughout the world.
Yeah.
It's probably the most prominent thing ever. It's like religion is probably
It's
the
like
most.
religion.
Religion is probably up there with resources, which is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it's up there.
I don't think that's weird. I think that makes complete sense because it gives humans purpose, which is the existential like kind of battle of a person is finding purpose.
I don't get why people can't just do it for themselves.
What do you mean?
Because it's hard to confront
You can't.
the idea that you can not have purpose.
Well, for themselves, that there is really no purpose in that though. Like if other people are not part of your religion, then your religion is clearly capped. Because how are you just smarter than everybody else and not smart enough to prove it? The legitimacy.
That's.
Oh, should I keep going? Is this not the plaza?
No, that's not it.
Oh, it's further. Okay.
Yeah. Thing
In
is,
fact, probably the single variable of a religion's definition, legitimacy, is how many people are part of it, and it's probably what also generally by definition separates religions from cults. Thank you.
Yeah.
The size and the longevity is the difference.
Yeah.
between the cult and religion.
Yeah. Like literally, if a cult became big enough, it wouldn't be a cult.
Yeah, religion can't go away because the the natural search for purpose in every human will not go away. So religion will forever. It may evolve, but
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think like religion may not necessarily be like quote unquote religion as like theism as a lot of people see it, but it could just develop into a more spiritual understanding.
But nonetheless, just because there's a new, it's an and like there are, you know, well,
Yeah.
as you know, there are plenty of Christians, Muslims, like for example, tell Hadi that Islam is going away. I mean, he'll fucking laugh at you. Like,
I actually don't think Islam.
It's the fastest growing religion.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
Not going on.
yeah, so
Catholicism, I think,
So,
is the quickest
and-
dying one.
and that means that religion as a whole is not going away,
And
including
yeah,
religion as we know it.
I think though, it's gonna evolve to more like I think like eventually it's gonna evolve to more like
No, I heard
knowledge based
there's this
spiritual
there's
understandings.
this- What the fuck?
She's Arab.
Oh my god.
An Arab Quebecer. That's the worst.
Oh my god. You guys.
But I said there's this thing that like the internet is replacing religion,
What?
which
That's hella weird.
I would say information is replacing.
yeah,
Of
because
course.
bro, internet is just information.
So yeah,
it's-
well, that would be science is replacing religion.
Well, not necessarily just
Not
it's
really.
just information.
information. Because a lot of it could be like
Science is information.
a lot of it could be like purpose too.
What's
No, I
that?
know, but like, you know, people who just say quote unquote science and then you just like say quote unquote atheism, but like I'm not referring to just atheism.
I'm referring to science as in like science, but like the scientific method, like information discovery. In fact, it's just fact versus faith,
Yeah.
and there's an increase in facts,
Yes,
which means that there can be a
That's like the
decrease in the need for
classic-
faith.
that's like been the classic like debate arguments since time.
I don't think it's really a debate though.
Well, yeah, I agree because like there's no arguing something.
Like when I was 13, I used to love to like talk to religious people about my atheism and talk about all my facts, and then I realized that's the stupidest argument ever. You're not arguing about the same things.
Exactly, you're just talking about each other.
The basis of religion isn't faith. So
And the basis
so
of-
to attack it with
exactly.
facts is like it's shooting empty
The
shots.
basic and also the basis for scientific method is that you
Plus,
can
bro, the
discuss
whole-
something that is like refutable, but that's not
right.
refutable. So it's
and
literally inconsequential.
religion is irrefutable in its nature.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's
plus-
all just like string theory, bro.
Plus, the entire thing that gives like religion strength is like faith and believing in it. So you think you're gonna change someone's like view, like bro, you're not gonna persuade them. They're literally the whole special thing is believing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
really funny when people think like I'm just gonna convince this person who's been this religion their whole life this day that they're gonna.
But that's what I found is that most faithful people actually like they completely acknowledge that it's a faith.
What are you doing?
Do I not turn right here?
No, it's
my fault.
it's at the main room. Okay, yeah. Okay, I got it
look
this
at this
time.
nice
Okay, we got this time.
Damn.
My
Yo.
directions are actually gonna be so free on this
I
one.
I like
Where are we
Yeah.
going?
Okay. So.
like I know, but like also like what is going on?
Okay. Yeah.
Like I feel like
I
we
told
just
you.
ran for a plaza, bro.
Roads are confusing, and yeah, I don't know. This road is apparently a.
Do I turn right or left?
Yeah, turn right. Okay.
Bro, what the fuck? Are people like?
Okay. Make this
Right, left.
in 200 meters, you turn right.
Bro, I don't know why I shaved my legs so I
You ready
can
for
feel
this?
buffer, bro.
You're not ready for
Are
this.
you shaving your legs right now?
No, I was, and
I
now I
just
have
read
so
this.
many ingrown
I just
hairs.
read this entire intersection for about like the entire time we were stuck in traffic.
What's
That's how
that?
confusing this is. I'm talking to Chadsey. This is how confusing it is.
Chadsey.
This roundabout here, it's so confusing.
I
And I'll
hate
show you in a
when
sec.
people make big roundabouts. That's so dick.
Okay, so
I love roundabouts. They're
not
so
this
fun.
one, but the next traffic light where you turn right.
What is the P shirt? I see that. What?
Oh come on, he's like 13.
Yeah, that's what
I just can't stand him because he's taller than me.
I'm 13.
There we go.
How do you think I feel when I see a grade 8 that's taller than me, bro?
The next light you take.
Turn right.
The next light.
Turn right.
Yes. I mean, it's a one-way.
That's true. Good point.
Yo, one thing I realized the other day is that like a week ago is that I'm still like the big kids to some kids, which is always
What do you
been
mean?
weird, bro. Because I see like little kids who are like in my position and say like grade 8, like 9, 10, and I see them and I'm
Okay.
talking to them, and then I'm realizing that I'm the older kids who talk.
Once you turn right,
Yeah,
you
yo,
take-
Chadsey,
I take
actually,
the left lane.
I literally have never
Left ramp.
internalized that. Like, I've
Take
never
left ramp.
internalized that I was the big kid.
Left.
Left ramp.
Okay, thanks, Daddy.
Like I never
Discuss
thought
it,
once
like,
that I was like a big guy. Like every time I talk to somebody, I just talk to them like they're my
Then
equal.
take the right exit. Take the right
yesterday I was
exit.
looking at you and I was literally like, this
Yep.
guy's top boss. Bro.
This exit right
Gucci
here.
belt and the black shirt.
Right here.
And
Yeah, right.
I don't even.
Just early stages
Holy
of the top
fuck!
boss.
I finally
I
start to
appreciate
recognize
that.
this round.
I appreciate that, Chadsey. The thing is though, like I don't even think about that.
I think it wears off. I think it'll wear off. It'll stop being the case, Chadsey, soon. So like take it in right now because at like John and I's age, it's no longer a factor because like if they see us like they didn't like we're just adults. Like there's nothing to it. Like
and when we speak to like adults that are older than us, like we do refer to them as our equals because like they're pretty much like the same level.
Yeah,
That's the
they've passed the threshold
Take
of.
the next exit on the right.
Like,
Okay,
young
thanks,
college,
honey.
then they're like equal.
But the thing is, that's true. But if you go to workforce, then you'll be treated like a complete equal, and that'll really also like change your perspective on things. And then when you come back to university, you're feel different. So I actually think the difference is probably between freshman and continuation because
you used to always get lost on it.
Heidi, where do we go?
Okay, yeah, keep going on this road for 600 meters.
Yo,
Because that's where I was really surprised, like when I came to university, and I like noticed that like all the second, third, and plus years were like all like really the same, and they like they had no sense that they were like university was not tied up with their identity.
Yo,
So I
yeah,
think
that's what I was gonna say.
I think it ends after freshman year. That's
Bro, yeah,
actually
the
threshold.
second years, like actually even like one semester in university, like your
300
whole
meters are gonna turn
perspective shifts so incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Route gang going.
because I saw that
200 meters.
for our guides, our second year guides.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
the second years, even though they're literally like not so far away, they felt so far away mentally.
Yeah,
And
like
This one. Next one.
I could understand why. Like they literally were, they were so much.
Yep, this
They
right
literally
here.
was
This
so
right?
chill.
Yep, this right.
How is this a fucking highway? They're just turnoffs like this. What the shit?
Welcome to Montreal.
That's
all I gotta
that's
say.
so crazy. was that like a 100-kilometer-an-hour highway?
No, that was
No,
like
they-
50.
those are like
like a
Okay.
wide 50.
That was just a wide ass road.
Yeah.
That was a road as wide as a highway in
Well,
Ottawa,
stroke,
basically.
Yeah.
Where have we been going?
No, it was like connected.
Is there Zatar where we're going?
Yes.
Oh, Bombaraskla!
And then
Bombardier, Bombardier.
roundabouts,
I find it really weird how Ottawa's. Well, I actually don't find it weird. I completely understand.
left on the
It's
roundabout.
because of all the immigrants, but like, bro, I love how Ottawa's like Arab food is so good.
Oh yeah.
That's true, yeah.
It's easy to drive. in
The thing is though,
Ottawa.
I forgot we were recording.
Then you can U-turn at the next intersection there.
Turn
Yo, look at
left.
all this milk,
Yeah,
bruh. Look at all this fucking
Here?
milk.
Yeah, right here.
Heidi, how the fuck did you find this place in the first place?
This is a place I always go to.
What?
This is a warehouse, bro.
And
No,
down.
you guys
Welcome-
are supposed to U-turn,
welcome to-
as I told you.
Welcome to Amazon, bro.
Oh,
Like,
he wanted us to U-turn.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this? There's
Thank
fucking
you.
barbed wire,
left.
bro. Or the electric fence.
Okay.
And Domino's. Zatar. The thing is, I'm actually not hungry. But if they have like,
I'm starving.
if they have good baklawa, I'm gonna.
After Laron, bro, I just need like a
This is it?
bite or two. Yep, right here on your right.
Oh,
And
this place is like a. It's
It's like literally Adonis, but
It's
way
a.
better.
It's a. Like it's like a it's like what's the manufacturing facility called for food?
Farm.
It's like kind of like a grocery store, and at the same time, like kind of a grocery store.
Like actually, I think it's just called factory. It's factory.
Farm.
Myself living like because this is a enjoyment which I mean in the context of kind of traditional standards just entertainment like it's not a
I think that's why
it's not a real city, it's an entertainment city.
I do that, but I do love
Montreal's
it.
an entertainment city.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
I don't mean entertainment in terms of entertainment industry particularly, but I mean like when like everything that I heard from you, John, about why you want to live in the city
It's like escaping.
is
It's escaping.
It's not for actually living in a city. It's for like fun.
Yeah,
Is that
for
what you
fun.
mean?
it's theoretically if you had unlimited resources,
Yeah.
what would I do if I won $1 billion kind of thing.
It's glimpses. It's the glimpses.
It's a glimpse of how life should be, quote unquote. Not from a standpoint of I'll make my life like this, but from a standpoint if I was God and I redid.
The thing is though, for me, that's why it's a genuine like thing, because this is how I actually like kind of plan to spend my kind of time outside of high school is to move around and live in different places. So for me, this is actually like just a
That's typically that. The reason I don't call that real is because that's typically like a young person's thing. Like it's not like it's not something that actually is like sustainable for most people.
I don't really understand that though.
But like it fully could be.
No, I don't really understand that because I still like I've always felt that way.
Because most people want to adopt. Most people come. Thanks, man. Most people come to want to adopt responsibilities, like marriage, kids, home ownership.
Yes,
so forth.
that's true. That's true.
That's really why I say like I want to be a father later, so I'd have the younger years to like be myself.
Yeah, but what I don't get is like,
So I'd get them like at some point, but I just do it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how marriage is like.
The issue though is that it takes quite a lot of time to it takes quite a bit of time to actually get to the point where like having kids being able to afford to have kids is not a matter of snapping your fingers. It takes like a few decades to build up like your skills, whatever, to be in a position to actually have that salary.
My favorite is the green ones, bro. They're so.
But anyways, I'd be more curious in you expanding what you're talking about.
Pistachios is so good, man. I'm trying to waterfall it, Hattie. I'll probably spill over myself.
What were you saying? There's a squeeze top. You can just squeeze it. What were you saying, Andrew? Sorry.
I know. I was trying to respect Hattie's wishes, and I spilled it all over myself.
So what? You always home or?
You were. Yeah, I was asking about what's the example of like getting your heart broken.
Yeah, you were touching on that, but you didn't finish it.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example, you said that there's like.
But like, what was the example for? What was the example for?
It was about like.
Thank you. No
like
problem.
stuff not really like being about you, but in the way that it's a byproduct. Like other people are just living their own life.
Water back.
So it just
Oh, yes, sorry.
with you could see it as like this big event or whatever. It's really like not big at all for them.
Wait, what? Could you repeat that?
Like the stuff that's happening, like could be a big event or whatever, could just be happening to you, and you think it's like, oh, this person's like trying to hurt me or whatever, but it's really just like they're just doing their own thing, and you just so happen to get hurt.
That's very mature of you. That's very mature of you, Chadsey.
There's a material version.
I think that's a big delimiter between those who are who are emotionally mature and those who are like still learning, because what I learned very, very quickly, especially like I guess because of my dad, is that taking things personally is such a waste of your time. When I ever get frustrated, I'm never frustrated because of like people. I'm frustrated more of myself, because like I should just take responsibility and like put myself in a better position. Because like I'm more frustrated about the principles of why I'm in a state that's not favorable. Like for example, like what happened this weekend, like when I was pissed off that the video didn't go well, I was more pissed off at myself because I was like damn, like I wasn't being a better leader, a good enough leader to actually have us do something incredibly fun. I more or less just tried to understand like where I could improve. And that's why I think like when people dwell on their past relationships is because like it got to a point where things became personal, and that's a very toxic area, because you can enable yourself to grow with people and your relationship without being like, I guess, petty. And people are so in love with being filled with drama, man, and it's so funny.
That's right, because
yeah. Do you think it's true that some girls are just in it for girls?
Yeah. That girls just what?
Are you in it?
Oh, that are in it for drama.
I agree that some are.
Hattie is for sure in it for drama.
It's not a total, isn't it? It's not.
I think there's a maturity like level in women too, where they're just like looking at it for drama, like they just want something to happen. And that's
but again,
one thing
it's not a total thing. Like it's everything together.
A lot of girls just, especially in like high school, bro, they just want like stuff. They don't like. It's not really about like a boy. And I'm gonna be honest, I've done it too. I've been like, I want to have like a girlfriend, so
I actually don't even think. I don't think it's necessarily maturity, because some people genuinely just want to have some funny ass moments in their lives. Like they want to have like that sort of, they want to have that mystery. They want to have that lust. They want to have all this desire for somebody. And like that's why for guys it's so unintuitive for like a girl to be incredibly distant from you when you're not giving her that sort of desire, that lust, especially when it's like that's why it's very common, and you hear this motif going around where like when men get super vulnerable, girls try to use it as a weapon, or they try to like once they get really settled and stable, girls like women like get really frustrated.
All empirical studies on this point to the fact that in long-term relationships, women are almost always the first ones to inadvertently lose interest, whereas men don't particularly get concerned when they have what they previously wanted. Which
is different for everybody, like obviously, but like it's just like the culture is brought up that way.
I think it's very like different, especially between men and other people.
Yeah, I think it's a culture thing though. Like if in different cultures it would be different, but for our sakes, for our purposes, especially in Western culture, I think that's the narrative.
Especially in culture where you're very free to do what your heart desires, as in it's not like implied to you that you are constrained by a kind of greater set of rules.
Yeah, exactly. So like for us, because like I think we tend to think like we just want stability and we want to like have a lot of consistent fun, that we don't really think about like how the novelty really impacts our perspectives, because we try to build things that like are continual systems. We're not trying to build like very fragile and chaotic sort of experiences.
And fragile is not necessarily just a side effect of it, as in it doesn't matter if it's fragile.
Oh yeah, well like,
but the point is creating new desire.
Yeah, it's like not very intuitive, because like I just
actually you say this all the time, increasing the bar every single time.
Yeah, exactly. And like because like for guys, like we just always will desire you no matter what. Like we will just desire you regardless. And I think that's why it's unintuitive, because when we look at somebody, like no matter who they are, I mean like no matter like what they've done or like across time, we'll still just desire them, like just because of who they are. Like so, you know, for girls though, like I guess like they have more things to think about, I guess they have like more time to think about how their man be looking like and how their man making them feel than us, because we be grinding.
Are you saying we're hornier than?
No, I wouldn't actually go any deeper to try to find why these things exist. I would just look at it empirically.
Yeah,
it's
like
saying, bro, love isn't like logic, so you can't use.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're saying it's unintuitive, and this is interesting because as kind of everybody realizes at pretty quickly into like, you know, their like early adulthood, is that relationships between the different sexes are actually extremely unintuitive, because
it's purely cultural.
The natural products are completely like they're just so like the incentives for one is completely different than the other.
The thing is though, like I think that all the nuances actually bring a logic behind it. Like
I think it brings a beauty behind it, but I don't see how it brings a logic behind it.
I think obviously it brings beauty, but like I think there's a very distinct logic. If you understand the culture and you understand basic biological incentives, like it's distinct that, you know, men and women biologically do align in a different way, but also culturally the way we brought up that we bring up like women and men contrastly will also lead to very similar things. Like if you actually look at the shows that they force kids, like young girls, to watch, it shows a lot of these drama-filled, high lust environments. Like I just remember as a kid, like people and their daughters, when I would go to my friend's house, like they would be playing like reality TV shows that are showing them these girls like having crazy love stories, and girls would be more obsessed with that. And like, you know, that's a stereotype where like girls love these love stories and guys don't like that. Hey, exactly.
Yeah, whereas if you saw a guy watching like Too Hot to Handle, like what the fuck, like my fucking brain would blow up, right? Like
we would be watching some funny shit, like, because we're focused on like cool stuff. So.
But again, I'm not. I guess just because you can explain it logically, the kind of greater point is just that it doesn't matter if you can explain it logically. Like, it's still gonna be. It still is how it is.
Oh, of course. So, but the way to manage that is the way to manage that, which is what we were talking about before, is to always up the ante, but like be aware of what you're giving, because there's always going to be a threshold of what you can give And if you
so
give
you have to manage expectations. The way
exactly. If you give yourself all of yourself at once, then obviously, and not to say like put walls up and like try to hide and not be vulnerable. In fact, vulnerability is something that women love to get from guys. So like that's a good way to lock people in and be like I guess very good at seducing if you like capture on that. That's like some methods, but
generally you're right. It's less about the absolute value that you bring and more about the relative value that you bring.
Yes, exactly. Yes, absolutely. Because they'll always compare. They'll always compare, and especially as well, like I noticed this just in my own life. So I don't know if this is universal, but a lot of relationships tend to be, or rather, a lot of the girls who I had a relationship with refer to the past a lot. And so whenever there's like a high point, especially when like girls haven't had a lot of relationships, but the thing is, just because like they've thought it once is probably means that they're going to think about it again. But anyways, that they refer to the past and they compare it with the present. And if it's in a low time, they'll always bring up the past, and it'll be like a very touchy subject for them because they'll be like, oh, why isn't it good now? Like, what's happening? And so they'll be finding for a reason for that. And I think it's that's super interesting because like they constantly think about these relative moments, and because if you understand like if that's the person you're with and that's how they act, for me is that you can just like always enable sort of like mystery, and like distance is a good way to give that, but like also like not really elaborating entirely what you do and also doing a lot of things and then having a lot of stories to tell will keep enabling like that refresh for them, because you're always getting like new like you always have new and exciting things, and you're living your own novel experiences. So they think relatively that you're going up because you're doing all these better and bigger things. But then again, like there's always different levels to it. And that's also what I've been thinking about. Like once you get to like yacht club level, like how do you maintain the novelty?
I disagree.
Fuck.
I disagree. I think that is always the same. I think that it's always the market.
You always what? Bro, that guy is a fucking lunatic. On a motorcycle, never catch me doing that shit. He crashes once, boom, all of his skin is gone. All of his skin is gone.
I think that
He was swimming.
What do you think is the same?
Opposite side.
markets and relativity, because there will always be competition, and there's always relativeness.
Yeah.
Like I think the rules apply across everything.
When a car does
What
that,
rule?
I just think they're trying to swim.
Sorry.
But when a
What
motorcycle
rule?
does that,
The rule of comparison to others, and comparison to other options, and comparison to past
yes.
experiences. Like I don't.
Well, I was
see it
wondering
changing at
how
all.
it changes. I was wondering how.
I just don't think it does.
I think it does though a little bit, because I think like some people will change more. Like some people who are like maybe very materialistic might always compare in a unique way.
But
I
I'm
think
talking
like
generally speaking.
yeah, but like once you find like someone who you actually care about, I feel like it's a human thing to want to build something that's sustainable, especially when you have kids.
But I think that's a matter of, yeah, sure, it's a matter of changing will, but I don't know if it's also a matter of compromise. Like Michelle was talking about yesterday, like her perspective on, like priorities of career and family, and like clearly at some point, I think everybody just makes compromises in their relationships, which is completely natural because, as we talked about, like the incentives are often
It's
backwards.
so bullshit though. Like compromising is really like, think about what compromising is.
But the thing is, again, like I think that's what is perfect in principle, but impossible in practice. You could strive towards it. Like that's actually, I think we should all strive to perfection. However, like as an example, like in relationships, how can you not compromise? You would have to literally date yourself.
Yeah,
and
literally.
you are a dude. So, and that's actually kind of funny, right? Like a lot of people say, like, I wish I could just find a different gender to me, as though your gender does not define your whole fucking personality. Like, what are you talking about?
I would just fuck me though if I met me, to be honest. If he was blonde, if me was blonde,
Well,
I should
there
just
you
dye
go.
my hair.
There you go. If you met yourself, you'd be compromising on your
I don't want to be blonde. I just want a blonde bitch. I just always wanted to be white, Chadsey. I just always wanted to be white. That's not even a cap.
Really?
Yeah. It's because when I was a kid,
Yo, I think most young kids who are
like who grew up in
who are new, most young kids in I'd just say in the West, like in North America,
yeah,
who grew up during our time and probably still now, and definitely before, who are ethnically different in any kind of way, whether that's nationally or race-wise, they'll always want to be like the majority.
Well, not the majority. I'd say just the perceived upper class, because I wouldn't even say that a lot of. I don't even say
white people are the majority. What do you mean?
Well, maybe it's the Ottawa thing, but
I think it's a Canada thing.
The majority's gonna be.
But it's because it was always like perceived. Like I was always like every single one of these shows that I watched.
I think that if a white person grew up in an Arabic society, whether that's just like a small like community in Ottawa that's Arabic, they would too want to become Arabic.
Yeah.
Like, because the shows they watched were Arabic, because that's the majority. And the thing is, why were the shows white? Because the majority of the viewers were white, which means that they related to it.
Yeah, and like a lot of the shows that we watched, it was like predominantly white heroes, and
That's a wrap.
that's where the people that were like saving all the princesses and stuff.
Montreal.
It would always be a white woman.
Once we get onto the bridge route of the island of Montreal.
It'd always be like a white woman, a white guy saving like white princesses and stuff, and I'd be like, damn, like I'm not white, but like I'm trying to be white. Like, should I look like that so I can get the princesses?
Yeah, and even though you're comfortable in your skin color, like you still strive to the same ideals, which in some sense were.
You can't change lanes.
I know. I thought that the lane was closing off. That's why. There you go. It's closing off. It's a fucking shit ain't closing off. Never mind. Like the ideals that this is kind of a super interesting thing, because the ideals that you still strive to are still the same ones that were portrayed, that you thought of as white ideals.
But I just thought that they're like natural ideals. But the thing is, I like the ideals though. Like it's always been portrayed as like the white young like strapping kid trying to figure his life out and like save everybody. It's like that motif like signifies like courage and curiosity in a very interesting way, and I've always loved that persona.
And that motif is extremely attractive to every.
Oh yeah.
Like
I would imagine that like in other cultures, and I've seen it in like Indian cultures. Like I just remember the movies Mr. Smith would show us and etc. Like it would be like a lot of good. Do you remember that? Good.
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember the kid who was calling for his brother? Anyways, but yeah, like I saw that there was a difference in culture where they were trying to prove like more like dominant characteristics, more like powerful traits, which was interesting, and that's why I didn't really resonate with the character, because I've actually never really wanted to be powerful. I've wanted to be like that young aspiring kid who's just curious and wants to save the girl, like just curiosity mixed with courageousness. It is really like the hero trait, like when you see in like fucking Final Fantasy or like weird MMORPGs, it's like courage level 12.
For the record, I don't. But
His whole thing, his whole personality is being courageous.
Hey, that's literally, he has to try for
biggest
it.
video games character, and he's just like a blonde hair, blue eyes, like guy.
Yeah, and it's made by Japanese people,
Yeah.
which is funny as fuck. But yeah, man,
yeah, I mean, it's good to make the distinction that in order to be that, you need to be courageous, not be white.
yes.
That's the thing to strive for, right?
Yeah, but also like the reason why I would feel that way is because like it's the perceived idea that they associate those kind of people with those kind of people. Like that's why they say, oh, he's a golden retriever boy. You know what I mean? Like those kind of people. Like it's associated in that context because they've also grown up listening to that. So within our age group, I would imagine that's what they were perceived. So making myself seem as white as possible, literally to as much as I can control, which comes down to
I actually lived through a lot of it with parents and shit.
Yeah, exactly. But like with my voice, with my hairstyle, with my clothing style, Like these people, like my target audience would fall under that category. So
If anything, I would like to be like kind of like you, like kind of like racially ambiguous.
I do like that I am racially ambiguous.
Yeah, I think it's very like I think it's nice that I can like go between different.
I think it plays very well into like the kind of experiences that I've had, where like for most of my life up until very recently, I've been very I guess like multifaceted, especially towards the people I would surround myself in. Like I would have a lot of different kind of friends, and I would try to be a lot of different kind of things at once. And the fact that I'm like racially ambiguous was very funny because some people straight up actually thought I was white. And every time they said that, I was super happy to hear that. Some people said I was Mexican, and then I'd be like, no. Some people would guess that I'm Asian, and that is the case. And a lot of people actually thought I was Blasian during football, which was really funny. But yeah, like I feel like it enabled me to talk to them because like they can't even they don't even try to guess like where I'm from.
But you know what? It's also it's in part proof of. I remember like we used to always say this about like bullying, where we'd be like, "Yo, you're not getting bullied for the actual thing that you're getting bullied about. You're getting bullied because you're annoying as fuck, and then we're just picking on and pick on." And it's kind of the same thing. You were fun and interesting, and all of a sudden you were white. Not because white people are fun and interesting, just because like then it's like, yo, like you're one of us. Like there's nothing else.
Yeah, you're one of us.
Like there's nothing else.
Which is crazy because you would have the same thing when I'd be in the others communities, like especially playing football. They'd be like, "Oh, this guy's funny and interesting.
He's black
he must
now."
be Blasian."
Yeah, like
he must be Blasian. That's what they say, bro. They'd be like, "You're like."
It was completely based on your personality, and not and how they kind of felt to you like through conversation, and not at all based on like actually looking at your fucking skin and seeing that you're clearly not Blasian, right?
Yeah.
Bro, but I think not to tie back to my real people like idea I keep coming to, but real people like
you can tie back to it because I like it.
I like it. I want to expand on it actually. I wanted to say like what's real.
That's really like my main like theme of life. Like that's really like what I do most of the time. Like,
what?
I strive to be a real person.
Strive to be.
You said well, how are you gonna tie it back, by the way?
It's just a lot of people that I find that are racially ambiguous are always very like are always real people.
Oh,
like every single racially ambiguous person.
Because you said, I wonder why that is. Because in terms of just generally, I think it's just defined by people who care. And you said, and it's funny because right as you were talking earlier, you said care, and then I'm like, oh, that's probably actually what you mean by real. And then you kept talking about the whole care factor.
Care is a different thing.
Okay.
Care is like my idea of care is only when you're like doing something. Like to be good at something and to actually fully this is where the real thing like kind of ties in. To actually really fully be doing something, you have to be like kind of like know about it. You have to be like doing each step. If that, I don't know if like that makes sense, but like say when you're doing something, you have to be like, oh, I know the movements to do like this.
It's kind of like what.
Sorry if it's separated from the term.
No, it's all good, bro. We can switch it off because but like it's kind of like we were talking about before before what you just said, where you're talking about understanding the steps. I think that's a different thing. But like before, what you're talking about is like we've talked about before about taking things seriously. Like people who take a lot of things very seriously, and not in the sense of like, you know, they're like fucking dicks. I mean like they actually put effort no matter what they're doing. People who take a lot of things seriously, like they seem very authentic because like that attitude towards making everything like an actual moment and trying to take out the experience for